My name is Henry Devlin. I'm the president and CEO of Willis College. Join us for a wonderful conversation about Willis College.
Well, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Schools. What an absolute pleasure it is to be here in our nation's capital, beautiful Ottawa, Ontario, and I'm at the Willis College 2025 graduation. I'm meeting people whose lives are being transformed and those that are a big part of transforming them. And I like talking to them one person at a time. And on that note, why don't you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us what you do.
My name is Henry Devlin. I'm the president and CEO of Willis College.
Okay, you didn't start there, Henry. You didn't start as the president and CEO. What was your journey to Willis? Tell me a little bit about you and your background.
Sure. So 40 years ago, I was introduced to regulated colleges in Canada. I had friends that were attending, and I popped in, started talking with some of the management that was there. And one gentleman said one day, well, you should consider, I had a business and marketing background, he said, you should consider coming in and working at the college. So that's what started it back in the mid-'80s.
Okay, and so how did you find your path to Willis? When did you and Willis intersect?
Well, if I go back to those early days, and because I wasn't even sure about whether or not this is where I wanted to spend my career, and I had a student very early on in my career come in after graduation, and he struggled a little bit through school, but after graduation, he came into my office. He had a wonderful suit on one day. He looked quite dapper, and he said, Henry, I want to thank you for changing my life. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you guided me, you helped me find the right program. I participated, I graduated, I got a great job. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am. And I just want to say thank you for changing my life. At that moment, I knew the career I wanted to have. I knew the sector I wanted to be in. So that started my journey back in the mid-'80s. And then I traveled across Canada and I worked for several different schools. And about 10 years ago, after putting in all of those hours and all of those years, about 10 years ago, I decided it was time for me to acquire some schools on my own and start to build them up. And Willis College, the oldest regulated college in Canada, was sort of in my sights. And I knew that was the college that I wanted to pursue because of its history and its connection to the city. So after much negotiation, I became the owner of Willis College about 7 years ago now.
Henry, changing people's lives, that's a powerful thing. It's a powerful statement. But every one of the people that work here, whether it's in the admissions, financial aid, the instructors, the placement people, they all feel the same thing. What is it about Willis that this is unfolding and people are so passionate about what they're doing?
Well, it's interesting. When someone first starts at the college, I don't think they completely understand what it is they're about to embark on. And I've chatted today, especially with graduation, I've chatted with a couple of staff members who last year, they had been on maybe a week or two. And I wanted to connect with them this year because I wanted to find out, so what's changed? And both of them said to me, my students are going to walk across the stage this year. I worked with them. So the sense of pride and partnership that we have with our students, when they first come, all they have is fear of the unknown and a dream of where they want to be. And because of the team that we have and the programs that we have and the vision that we have and the contacts that we have and the commitment that we have to those students, we work alongside of them, and then we get to see them walk across the stage. And today, only because I'm a fan of measuring our numbers and reading our KPIs and our data, I know that over 95% of the students walking across this stage are already working in our nation's capital. They've graduated and they've achieved that next step. Now, when I deliver my speech later, they're going to hear that this is not the end. Graduation and that first job is not the end. Just like me back in the 80s, it's the beginning of something. But they've earned the right to walk through that threshold of a new career because of all of the hard work and commitment. But when staff gets to participate in that, I like to say if you've been in this a year or so and it doesn't touch your heart, then you're in the wrong industry. Yeah. Everybody works here, not because Willis is a great college, because they feel they're making a real difference in someone's life.
What do the staff mean to you personally? What do they mean to you?
Well, The history of the college is great. Been around, the oldest regulated college in the country, but it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot unless you've got a great team today. Execute. Like, I don't have the staff from 160 years ago. They're all gone, let's just say. But the team that we have today is an incredible, talented group that have come from industry, that have worked their career and said, I want to give back. I want to participate. I want to train the next person in the field that I got so much enjoyment and satisfaction from. So without the staff, I'm but one individual. Impossible for me to do this unless we have the team that we have. And at every level, from the first engagement with a student and the quality people we have at the front end working with them, and then when they begin that first day, and the management team and the instructional team that works with them, and then we start prepping and getting ready because we know that there's another group that's going to work with them that's equally as important as the others, and those are the career services staff. So as a student finishes out their studies and they've completed their program, and now the fear enters back in, and I'll be talking about that in my speech later, that fear is a very real experience for human beings. And without facing it, without challenging yourself, you'll never move forward. So the fear that the students feel at the beginning, the fear of the unknown and outcomes and will I be successful, once they start that program, that fear goes away. But throughout the program, even though the confidence is there, when they see the finish line and they start thinking about, oh my goodness, now I've got to go talk to employers and will all of this translate into a job? The fear enters back in. And that's when we parachute in our career services team, because we know that that's a normal emotion. 40 years of doing this, I know students are going to experience that. So the career services team takes their hand and says, no, we've dealt with thousands of employers. This is not your journey. It's our journey. And that's, again, what we're able to do for them.
The counterpoint to fear, Henry, would be courage. And it takes a lot of courage for these students, young or old, where they are in their lives, to say, I'm going back to school. On that note, you're about to see and you're about to stand in front of them today. Talk to me what you feel about these students as somebody who's touched, I'm guessing, 50,000 people in your life,
sure,
right? Over 40 years. How do the students? What is it about them that stirs your emotion and makes you want to come to work every day?
I describe it, and it might seem a little cliche, but the students are family. I've been very blessed. I have 2 children, and I watch them grow up, and I watch them leave our house and embark in their career, and I had such a sense of pride. They were capable, confident young individuals, and they moved on. I get to see that every single year with thousands of students. There are family members. We see them go on their journey through school. Courage, sure. It's impossible for someone to wake up every day and come in here unless they have the courage and conviction of where they're going to go. Because our students are not 17, 18, 19 years of age. These are individuals that have part-time jobs and families to attend to and bills to manage. So all of a sudden you're going to add on this new, you got to now study and complete academic courses in order to move forward. It's an incredibly challenging journey they're going to go on. So I'm very proud of the courage that they display. And the outcome that they get is, and again, I'll say it in my speech later, their success is truly theirs. We should not steal 1 second of their thunder, but we get to be the cheerleaders on the sideline, working with them all the way through to see them cross that finish line.
In a few sentences, Henry, what should people know about Willis College? What is the essence of Willis College?
Yeah. Willis College has assembled a team of individuals that genuinely care about the outcome that you're trying to achieve. It's a college, and there's lots of complex elements to it, and big investments in marketing and a curriculum and all. But at its core, what are we? We're a group of individuals that know that you've put your trust in us, and we are extremely committed to seeing you make it. And not graduation is but a step, but seeing you make it in your career. We do a lot of work with our alumni. The journey that you go on with us And I hope every student hears this. When you get that first job and you start doing very well, and I know you will because of the skills that you have, and you grow with that organization, and all of a sudden you're given an advancement. You're given a new challenge. Two elements. We want to be there to congratulate you on the next step, and we want to let that employer know that we have someone else for them who can fill that first void. That person is moving up, that is creating for the next individual coming along. So caring about individuals, genuinely caring, and feeling a sense of that's my family member that's making it. I truly do feel each and every individual on our team sees each and every student within our school as part of their family.
And that's where passion and leadership meets, right here at Willis College. Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this session about Willis College, and to find out more, contact the college directly.